Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Today we're going to talk about the Durham report. We're all familiar with it. Well, maybe we're not all familiar with the Durham report because the mainstream media, if that's where you get your news from, ABC, CBS, NBC, the day that it came out, the very day that it came out, all these bombshell revelations, how many minutes did they spend on it? Zero. They spent no time at all. They just simply did not report the story, as they always do. They just bury anything that's going to be detrimental to the Democrats in general or the Biden administration, Joe Biden in particular. And that's what's happening in this case. But for those who are familiar, it's just amazing. It was a Russian collusion hoax. There's no doubt about that. Also, there was no doubt that this was perpetrated by the FBI, CIA, that they perpetrated this hoax. They lied to a FISA court to get a FISA warrant for instance, to wiretap, spy on, Carter Page, to spy on the Trump campaign. And this goes all the way up to Barack Obama. The report says clearly that Barack Obama was briefed on this. He knew what was going on, that the whole thing was a hoax perpetrated by, mainly, I mentioned the CIA and the FBI, but they are mainly co-conspirators, aiders and abettors. This originated with the Hillary Clinton campaign. There's no doubt about that. But what's especially distressing is that none of these people so far have been held accountable. Nobody's on trial. Nobody's going to jail. And that raises the question, since they seem to be getting away with this, or got what they did in 2016, would they do it again in 2020? The Hunter Biden laptop, the same John Brennan, one of the 51 former CIA officials who signed a letter saying that the laptop had all the earmarks of a Russian disinformation campaign. He's the one who briefed Barack Obama on the Russian collusion hoax. So you have this whole nest of thieves, and nobody's been held accountable. I may talk about this later in another vlog, that the House should subpoena Barack Obama. If the government could go after Trump for nothing, then they should be able to subpoena Barack Obama and put him under oath and say, were you aware of the Russian collusion hoax? And let him answer yes or no. And he darn well better say yes, because we know from the Durham report that he was involved. But the main point is, will they try the same thing again in 2024, since they got away with it this time? And I'm going to turn the floor over to K.T. McFarland. She was a deputy. She's the former deputy national security advisor during the Trump administration, I was going to say the first one, but that's the only one so far. I hope that there's going to be a second one starting in 2025. But anyways, here are her thoughts. Just watch and listen.
We now have black and white evidence that the FBI interfered in the 2016 election. And then when they failed to get their candidate elected, Hillary Clinton, then they just set out to destroy the Trump administration. So then go up to 2020. It was the CIA this time that got involved in the 2020 election with those 51 former intel agents who talked about the Hunter Biden laptop as total Russian disinformation. So they've gotten away with it for 2 elections. They're for sure going to get away with it, try to get away with it in 24, right? Because there's no consequence. The difference is in 2024, the evidence is there. We now have the Durham investigation. We have all the congressional investigations. There is now hard evidence that there was election interference by the U.S. intelligence agencies and the Department of Justice. They've got to be terrified, those individuals have to be terrified that a Republican president comes in the 2024 election with a Republican attorney general, investigates them and charges them all with the crimes they've committed over the last 8 years.
Well, we'll see about that. You're right. There are questions around these elections because of this interference. Do you think there will be election interference then in 24?
Take it to the bank. They will absolutely interfere in 2024. We're not sure how, but they will absolutely interfere, not only because they're not going to like whoever the Republican candidate is, but because they're going to protect their own hides. That's why they were talking to their own people, and the whistleblowers have brought this up, that they were told, don't put anything on paper, just tell us orally. They knew that they were doing stuff wrong. They knew that they were going to be liable for prosecution.
Yeah, it's too bad. I wish the media were more curious about all of this. Unfortunately, the media takes the narrative of the Democrat Party and runs with it and then tries to cancel anybody who's not on board.
Well, they're in the same position. They can't possibly admit they were wrong because that sort of it just undercuts their whole reason for being. So they're going to continue to have the fake narrative, and they're going to continue to cover up and pretend that nothing bad went on. I mean, they're all in it together. This is what the terrible thing is. These people are selling the country. They're just selling us out, not only to foreign leaders, but they're interfering in our elections. They're tearing up the Constitution. Why? Because they want to protect their jobs. They want to protect their ratings. It just is. I never thought I would be this upset about how anybody in the government was performing, but this is just a gut punch to the American people.
It really is.
That's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. My thought and KT McFarland's thought. So that's our thoughts for today. Thanks for stopping by. As always, if you could subscribe, that would be great. And I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do, bye.